Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm going to show you some projects we have going, and uh, man, it's a bright sun out, but let's work with this, what we got here. Just come a good rainstorm, but that's what's going on right now in April, Kentucky weather. One minute it's snowing, next minute it's 80 degrees. That's just part of Kentucky life. But back to what we're talking about. This is a 79 Aspen RT. I bought this car and another project you'll see in a few minutes. I bought these two vehicles. Like I said, this one and the one you'll be seeing in a few minutes off of the same gentleman. And this car here, the story with it is, he actually owned this car. I got the car, it had no K member under it and no drivetrain. His mother had a 55 Chevy that the motor went bad. So, some of these guys, they use what they got. I'm always the type, if you got a Mopar, you keep it Mopar. You got a Chevrolet, you keep your Chevrolet. You got a Ford, you keep it Ford. This guy's like, no, the 55 motor went bad. So what is he, his solution for that was? Well, he had this 79 Aspen here that he, had no interest in fixing. So he pulls the 360 motor, the K member out from under it, puts under his mother's 55 Chevy. Well, puts a 360 in it to come out of this car. And I'm sure, I don't know, I really didn't ask him the total reaction from his mother when she got her 55 Chevy back, and it Chrysler powered, but I guess if she got it back and running and driving it all was, all she cared about. But this car here, like I said, had no K member under it. I had to drag it on the trailer, put blocks on it, scoot it up on the trailer. Matter of fact, I sat on the trailer for a month and a half before I could find a K member and stuff to put back on the front of it, which I bought a K member, cleaned it, painted it. We bolted the K member back under it. They had a little 8.8 Forder in it that was welded up. Somebody actually welded the spiders together. So I've got an 8 1/4 of another Volare that, we parted out here. Sad thing it's a 79 Plymouth Volare kit car, but it was way too far gone to, ever bring back. But this car, was a fairly solid car. It's got good interior, seats are good in the car, it's, as far as, interior wise, it's usable. It's it's good enough to use. It's good enough for a driver, drive it every day, with this interior. And that's what we plan on doing. I'm beyond the perfect paint body stuff. I mean, I've moved beyond that. And why have I moved beyond that? Well, let me show you in a few minutes in the video why I've moved beyond that. And then you will understand. But first off, I said, put a new K member under it, painted it, painted all this, cleaned all the K member, painted all that. What eventually is going to happen to this car, I'm going to put a later model 360 Magnum in it, with an automatic transmission, and just drive it and enjoy it. But here's the main seller on this car. This thing's got the grill. And anybody knows F-bodies, if it's Volars or Aspens, you never find one with a good grill. They'd either be broke or patched or something. This grill didn't have a break or anything in it. As a matter of fact, when I first looked at the car, I was buying the car for the grill, period. The asking price the guy asked me for the car, I thought, I'm getting the grill for that. The rest of the car's free. So that's my philosophy on that. But it's a good looking car, and me and the son go together, we're a driver. It's a good thing about him, he enjoys this stuff as much as I do. We're both car nuts, so that's a good thing. Here's his 74 Dodge van, had been sitting for almost 30 years. Bought it, got it home, got it running. We've done the brakes on it, wheels. He's doing his own thing with it. He eventually finished it, but he's moving along with it. That's the only thing about it, you need to do worry about a car hobby. Just always make a step forward with it, If it's a minor step, as long as you're doing something, that's fine. This here car, you guys might recognize it from the channel to very start with, it's the 83 Fury that come from Kudzu County. Now, this car was a Sling 6 car. Running and driving the car, and a gentleman parked it. You know, he's the type that he decides tire out of a car, he just parks it and buys another one. Well, son got this one home, had it running within a couple hours after this car had been sitting probably 15 years itself. You know, growed over, you couldn't even see the car when we first got there. But he decided to, you know, get it up and running. Well, I knew he would not be happy with a Sling 6 motor. Nobody's happy with a Sling 6 motor in a car. I mean, they run forever. They'll never blow up. They're weak as can be, you know, and it's not hot rod material. So what he done with this car, he put a V8 K member under it. We had a V8 there, you know, 318 that we'd had on the stand for, you know, I'd had it there for several years. Knowed it was a, you know, a decent motor when we put it there, but so he, you know, he had pretty good bones to start with. So he buys him a V8 K member. Well, he don't actually buy this K member. This is actually out from under the 78 Plymouth Volare kit car. It was actually his car, but it was so far gone. Like I said, you could have worked on this car the rest of your life and still never had the decent enough to be called a decent car. I hate it because, you know, we had to, you know, make one less kit car in the world, you know, but it died to save other cars, and that's a good thing about it. But this car here, he put a carbureted 318 in it, drove for a while, wasn't happy with that. Then he got a wild notion in his head, well, I'm gonna start Magnum swapping cars. You know, I've seen people talk about it on, you know, YouTube. I'm gonna do it. So he had this one set up, everything set up to V8 swap it with the Magnum, and then he, you know, goes in another direction, which, you know, it's a car hobby. You know, you don't have to stay stuck with one thing or anything. You know, it's always about doing what you want to do. Don't worry about what other people want you to do. Do what you want to do. We just got a torrential downpour. I'm trying to get the water back on my car cover. Okay, then let's walk over to our second project we got going here. And if you guys can see, this is the row of projects. There's the old panel truck from, you know, our very first video. It become yard art. That's what I bought it for intentionally, just yard art only. And if any of you guys know anything about these cars, this is the Dodge Aspen version of the Richie Petty kit car, 145 made. I bought this car several years ago. It was basically a basket case when I bought it, and I've got it to this point. I got tired of it. I gave it to my son. Now this is another future project that he'll, you know, enjoy, and, you know, and he, like I said, he's as crazy about them as I am, so that's a good thing. Okay, now turn back to our second project that we got going. You know, this is a new piece of iron on the property. This is a 79 Plymouth Volare Duster. I went to Louisville to look at this car. Of course, you know, boy over the phone, you know, and the message and everything like that. Oh, zero rust, zero rust. I said, I know better. I know these cars. They all got rust in them somewhere. I don't care if it's been kept in the garage all of its life. Typical F-body problems. Rust in areas that people don't know. Well, we get there. He quotes me one price. Me and the son get out of the car, and we go around the car, and we're finding rust, you know, in pretty good places. And oh, this boy's like, oh, no way, you know, no way. Well, we start pointing the rust out to him, and I actually start to say, you know, I don't think I'm interested in it. I think I'm going to probably pass on it. He's like, well, what do you give me? I made him a low ball offer. I mean, to be honest with you, if I had been him, I'd probably said, no, I couldn't do that. But the deal was, he was at the end of his ropes with this car, you know, and he'd moved on to other projects too. So we bought the car, you know, then going through the interior, you know, dash, you know how these old cars are, plastic in them, all the plastic deteriorates and breaks down. Fortunately, I've parted so many of these cars over the years. I've got, you know, plenty of plastic to redo, you know, interior stuff. It's just cleaning it, re-dyeing it, You know, of course, it's got the Gold Duster interior. Anybody knows Gold Dusters, you know, there's the signature interior in them, you know, the plaid interior. Well, this car here, you know, of course, I'm going to have to replace the rear floor pans in it, but they're not bad. I thought they was a lot worse, but they're not bad. This car, you know, is going to get some patching, but patch it up, enjoy it, and drive it. I put these wheels on the car. This car is a 318 904 Trans 7/4 rear end, and I don't understand that at all. A 904 basically and a 7/4 was slant six stuff. You know, you didn't, not a lot of V8s had that, so they've had to go out of the way to order the car like this. But you know, I put wheels on it. You know, it didn't have no wheels on when I bought the car. It set up on blocks. The boy said, oh, the wheels had set and rusted, you know, on the car had set and rusted off. It went, hold there. I said, no problem, I'm bringing wheels with me. Well, funny thing about this car, where it was parked was up the guy's driveway, and it's like almost like an alley type driveway. Busy highway. I mean, so the only way we could load this car was back in with a truck and trailer, load it backwards. That's how he had it sitting. I don't like hauling vehicles backwards, I mean, but you do what you got to do. So we were on the way home and just going along. Well, we stop in, you know, we get about an hour into our trip. We always stop and double check our load and stuff like that. Well, the son decides to open the door, you know, and check a few things. Well, this latch here, the car had set so long, this latch even acts like it worked. We thought it was a latch and an unlatch. You know, you pull on it and the door opens. You close it, you know. But he was in it looking, and he failed to, when he closed it, to yank on it and make sure the door was latched. Well, long story short, the door was not latched. Well, about 70 miles an hour, all of a sudden you hear a wham, and it's like a parachute been thrown out. When that door comes open backwards and the wind hits it, it will slow you down. So it bolted the door back, destroyed the door, got the fenders, destroyed the hinges. Luckily, of course, after my initial ranting, raving, and crying and whining about, oh, it's tore all to pieces, I said, I got parts. Let's put new parts on it. So went and got the parts, got the paint, done the door, done the fender. Like I said, I had the parts. I've got a bunch of them. Had to do the body stripe on the bottom. So I repainted the door, the fender, redone the stripe down the side of the car. Car did not have a grill. Well, we bought this grill several years ago off of eBay. And this was a spotless grill, perfect grill. And everybody knows Valaris or Aspen's, like I was talking about on the other grill. You don't find good grills. When you do, they're high dollar when you find them. Well, the shipping company, needless to say, done us bad wrong. They put it in a box. It was not actually the right size for it. It broke the ends off of it. So I've had to pass this grill back, you know, to be able to make it a usable grill, because you don't find these grills. So, you know, looks good. If you really didn't know what you was looking for, you know, as far as what's broke and what ain't broke, you wouldn't really know. But like I said, I've stuck a set of headers on the motor. We've pressure washed the motor off. The motor runs good. You know, this car's set for probably 20 years too. Hadn't been run. Got in it, throwed some fresh gas in the car. Of course, you know, made sure she turned over and wasn't sticky or anything like that. Which I do have to admit, the boy said he had it started for about 2 seconds. He said, I took and poured gas down the carburetor. And he said, I started it and it died. He said, the fuel pump was out. Well, that was a bad thing to start with, because he didn't go about, you know, starting a car that had been sitting that long right, which luckily it didn't hurt it. But we started the car up, had it running and driving within 15 minutes of getting it here. Drove it off the trailer, drove around. Now, no brakes, got a good emergency brake. But what the plans are for this car is, you know, I'm gonna do the old 70s style, jacker up in the back, big wide tires, the skinnies on the front, loud exhaust, you know, ladder bars under it, you know, all the 70s stuff, you know, shackles at the back. I want the old school look back. So that's what's gonna be with this car. And I'm gonna take the motors in it, put a 4-barrel on it, you know, dress it up, pull them. Of course, we're gonna be pulling the motor. I'll do under the hood, I repaint the under hood, the firewall, get it all painted back, paint the motor up, and just drive it and enjoy it. And as it goes, how you do with all of our rods. I want to change this up. I want to change it. That's what'll happen if it get changed up. But that's 79 Plymouth Volare Duster. So that is our second project. Of course, you know, we got a yard full of stuff, so it's, you know, it's not like it's a, how do I say it? It's going to be lonely. It's got plenty of other projects that probably will never get completely finished along with it. Okay, our third project come from the same gentleman that the first car I showed you, the 79. He got this truck. The motor first come out of the Aspen and went in this truck for a little while. This is an 89 Dodge D150, short wheelbase. Of course, it's been lowered. You know, it's had the rear end flipped. You know, 4-speed transmission is what's going to go back in it. It's had band, lower control arms put on it, and he cut the springs, which he took too much out of the springs. Needless to say, we have no suspension left in it. We got a new set of springs to go with the truck, so we're going to put, you know, get our drivetrain and everything, get the weight on it, and cut the springs to get the right height out of it. We still have suspension travel. But what's going to happen to this truck is we're just going to drive it. Build a old shop truck. I don't want to take and fix none of the rust out. I don't want to do this. The only thing it might get done body-wise to this truck at all is where they have primered these front fenders. They primered right over the red paint, just like the rest of the truck. We're going to take this back off and try getting close back to the rest of the body way it looks, to where they just don't stick out obnoxious, you know, by themselves. This truck will be a V8 4-speed truck, lowered with, you know, you don't have to buy fancy wheels. You don't have to buy high dollar wheels. But what I like doing is using the same manufacturer wheels. These wheels off of a 2010 Dodge Charger. $100 marketplace score. Guys, there's nothing wrong with these wheels. You know, they look good. Enjoy them. You don't have to spend $1,000 to have you a good looking set of wheels on a vehicle. Look around, do your research. You know, of course, this truck was a 5.515 bolt pattern, and they had already put adapters on it and made it to 4.5 bolt pattern. Well, they had some 20-inch obnoxious looking foose wheels of some kind on it that looked like it'd been, you know, at the bottom of the ocean for 20 years is how bad they look. The guy says, oh, I got to keep my wheels because my son gave them to me. Hey, I was more than willing to take and let him keep them ugly ass wheels. Or I'm sorry, ugly wheels. Watch my language. But like I said, we will be putting a 318 in this truck, later model 318 that Magnum. We're going to be carbureting it, you know, and the 4-speed transmission, and then we're going to enjoy it. That's what these cars are about. Drive them, enjoy them. They don't have to look like 1,000, you know, other, you know, super nice cars out there. Make it your own. Drive it, enjoy it. There's our springs that we're going to put under it once we get the right height. Here's our, you know, cure for the fuel injection. High-rise intake, you know, the cheaper China ones, but they do a good job. 650 Holley, that's what it will be running on. That's, you know, the thing with this stuff. Enjoy it. Drive it. Use what you got. And the thing is, we've got a lot. We've got a bunch of parts. Okay, I want to show you something else out here that the son has been working on. You know, me talking earlier about this 83 over there that he was wanting to Magnum swap. Well, he found an 89. Guess what he done with the 89? Had a 318 in it. Didn't run the best. He bought the car off of the elderly man. He's like, okay, here's what I want to do. I want to do this. So, look here. Look at that. Magnum swap, fuel injection, everything. Air, everything works. Cruise. He took and got this one, and it wasn't hard at all. I mean, he put his mind to what he wanted to do, and he done it. 15x7 cop wheels. You know, he wants the cop wheel look. And his latest thing he's done is he switched the factory rear end out and went with the 8.8 out of a Ford Explorer. Because he wanted disc brakes in the rear end, he wanted a different gear ratio. And he bought a brand new fuel tank because he said he was having starvation issues. Made him a sump in it, built him a sump for it. So his fuel pump will sit down the sump and they won't never be starved for fuel. So guys, you know, if you're young and out there and just starting out, don't be afraid to do something. It's only an old car. You know, if you are scared, you know, that you don't want to take and start working on a 55 Chevy or 57 Chevy, something you're afraid, you know, you're going to destroy, find something later model. Find something there's a lot of, you know, call it. Start fooling with it. You know, you guys will remember her whole panel truck from the Kudzu County. What an adventure was that thing. It was a mess. And guys, this is a 56 Plymouth Savoy, my gasser that I bought several years ago and started building me a gasser out of it. Well, it's like I told you, I'm the worst in the world for never finishing projects. Point in being, look here, 77 Dodge, custom van, fiberglass rear lift hatch, side door, no window, shorty, the van everybody wants. Got Challenger door handles, been relocated. I redone the door jambs. I painted it. This is triple plum crazy blue velvet door panels. The dash been painted. This thing's got a brand new 360 crate motor in it, brand new 727 trans, performance cam, headers, cutouts, 8 3/4 rear end, flow masters. You know, I spend a lot of money on stuff and just burn out with it after a while. But my thing is, I burn out with it, but I never want to get rid of it because I enjoy having stuff. You know, it ain't that I don't like it no more when I get burnt out with it. It's just that I move on to something else. My concentration and stuff is very, how do I say it, scatterbrained. You know, squirrel. Well, I'm terrible with the squirrels. I'll be working on this and I'll say, oh, squirrel. Now I gotta have that. But I think that's with about every hot rodder. There's none of us out there that believe in, you know, just taking and sticking with one vehicle. If we did, we'd be all common. That, you know, that's the thing about it. Don't be common. Work out of the box. You know, do what you enjoy and love. If you enjoy doing something one way, do it your way. And if you're watching somebody else do something, you're like, oh, I like the way they do something. Talk to them, ask them, guys, how do you do it? Can I learn this? You know, and if they're a good mechanic and good, you know, car enthusiast, they'll take and say, yes, no problem, man. Don't care a bit to show you. And, you know, that's the only issue I've got a downside to. I don't have patience. I don't have the ability to properly train. I get too, how do you say it? I'm too quick to reach and grab the wrench and say, oh, just go ahead and let me do it. I can get done quicker. Instead of saying, okay, here's the way you do it. Move along, step 1, step 2. But I'm learning and I'm trying to take and slow down. And like I said, my son is, God, he's gung-ho and, man, you know, into that Magnum swap, you know, that stuff that, you know, shoot, I didn't start LS swap until, you know, a couple years ago. Because why? I was scared. If you're always scared to do something, you're never going to work out your boundaries and your comfort zone and do it. Now we've done several LS swaps. They're so simple. They're basically simpler than a carburetor. So, but I'm still the old school carburetor guy. So I'll take and keep my stuff carbureted. But like I said, my son, he's modern. He wants fuel injection. Good. He knows how to do it. He's figured out all the problems. He's figured out all the little troubleshooting things, and he makes it simple. Well, guys, I just wanted to show you some future stuff we got here and some, you know, old stuff. A couple people was asking me, you know, I've seen this in the background, that in the background. Well, at this house, you're always going to see stuff in the background because we are car poor. We both taken, me and him both, and the wife's the same way. We see that squirrel a whole lot. We get distracted with other things real quick. You know, that's, and let me give you just a for instance. And this is a sad situation, but it's never going nowhere. We're always going to own it. But look here. This is a 1978 Richard Petty kit car. 245 of these cars made. This car has the factory 360 motor in it, factory transmission. We done this car several years ago. Worked on it several months. I mean, I went at it hard. That's back when I tackled a project. I didn't stop till that project was done. This car had the motor pulled, gone through, interior's been gone through, Of course, we painted the car and drove it and enjoyed it. Well, what happens? Well, this car happens. We put that car outside because we got this car ready to spray. Well, years ago, the town I live in had a hailstorm. And this hailstorm wasn't no normal hailstorm. This was softball size hail. I mean, it destroyed everything. Well, this car's sitting in the paint room, mask off, ready to paint. And this car was pulled outside. All I can do is stand and watch as this car gets pounded by softball size hail. It destroyed the top. It actually this was a poor repair that was done before when I got the car. It had actually knocked this Bondo out of this quarter. But, what's it, alright? You know, just means it's got to be fixed again. So this car had T-top sunroofs in it. And well, they wasn't T-top, they was his and her sunroofs, what they call them. I hated it. It was put in before we got the car. So our eventually outcome was to reskin this roof on this car and get rid of it. Well, let's say when the hailstorm got it, it moved it from a couple years down the road to being reskinned to, you know, immediately. Well, I had a supposed good friend at the time. Matter of fact, the gentleman we bought the car from wanted to do the job. He's like, man, I need the money. I'm like, okay, I got too many projects on my hand in here. So this top is off of a 77 Roadrunner, Jamaica Blue Roadrunner that I had parted out. So I took the car to him and took the roof to him, and I said, all right, you know, skin it. Skin it at the post, you know, at the welds, and put me a roof skin on it. Well, he didn't do that. What does he do? He cuts the post, cuts it there, takes the whole top off, post and all. I see what he done to the car, and I get mad as can be and throw a fit. It takes us a year of fighting with the guy to get our car back from him because he stopped at it right then, didn't do no farther. Kept it in his garage, caused us issues. We fit with him for about a year, finally got our car back. So I bring it home and had to put the roof back on it. And that was about a week's worth of work lining and stuff, getting it lined back right and putting it back on. But it's back home and it's hit the back burner. You know, like I said, 360 4-valve E58 police interceptor. Everything new in the motor, transmission new. I pulled the motor, we jammed under the hood, you know, everything. We done everything we could do to this car right. We actually won a lot of shows with it. I mean, it went to a lot of different shows. But that's what happens when you only got so much space to put vehicles inside at a time. And I had this car outside thinking, I'll have it outside and I'm not going to get any overspray on it or anything like that. It's going to be safe. Well, you know how that works. Don't never count stuff being safe. But folks, I hope you enjoyed the video, and leave your comments, and like and subscribe. And you know, we'll get back on getting more videos made. It's just been, how do I say it? You want to work on something, so you tear into it and you do it without thinking about recording it, because you want to get it done. And when you take time out to record, what does that do? You don't get as much done when you're recording, or I don't. You know, so, and you know, from our other video we posted, just give you a quickie on this. There's the last Kudzu County vehicle. That thing is on its way to the scrapyard. Some bought it for the motor and transmission. It had a 360 J-headed motor in it, heavy duty 727 trans. So, $200 van to recuperate, you know, a good 360, buildable 360 with the J-heads with a good heavy duty 727 trans. And when that goes to the scrapyard, he'll recuperate every penny back of the money he spent on it. Plus, he'll have the stuff he's got, you know, out of it already. That's the way to do this, people. Buy this old stuff, you know, it's got a good motor, good this. Buy something that you can buy cheap enough, and when you take what's left up to the scrapyard, you can recuperate the initial loss on the, you know, on the price of it to start with. Then you're always ahead. Don't never go backwards on nothing. Don't never buy, you know, say for instance, man, give $700 or $800 for that van. You pull a motor out, it's got to be built. You pull a transmission out, and maybe have to be gone through. You're not gain nothing there. But if you give almost scrap price for something, you pull your motor and trans out that you can take and rebuild and reuse, then you can haul that to the scrapyard and get your price back that you put in it. It's just a win-win. So guys, enjoy. I know everybody, you know, don't like working on so junk. It's just you know, you have to have a certain breed to work on this crap. And I mean, that's just facts. You know, we about have to be half crazy to do what we do. But thank you and have a good day.